Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember MAD magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
Fade in.
Welcome, everybody, to the program once again. It's time for some Midnight's Edge After Dark. We have with us from Canada, CC Karaoke. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm waiting for Culture Casino to come onto the panel and celebrate his big day.
I know, right? He said he'd be here. He's lying. But with somebody we do have here, speaking of Canadians, we have a Canadian bear.
Too much hair.
How you doing, Jay? Jay. And he's gone. Also joining us, we have Price of Reason. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
Not much. We're here. We're not very queer. At least I'm not. Well, depends on who you ask. And I'm not going to speak for anybody else. How you doing?
I'm good. And no, I'm actually not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm actually not I'm not queer.
You're not like Culture Casino?
I guess not.
Culture Casino's how many subs away from 1,500 here? Or 15,000?
No, he's less than 10 away.
Less than 10 away. Get over there, guys.
Yeah.
Get us over there. Get us over the 10.
He's going to put his beard in
I'm already subbed to him.
Yeah.
There you go. Make a few new
get your alt email addresses. I'm subbed to him on 6 different accounts myself.
Holy crap, dude.
I want to see him in pigtails.
Well, we all do. We all do. We also have with us Nick Weiser. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, Tom. I'm good, sir. Hello to you, CC, Price, and Script, and to our chat and our absolutely excellent wrenches. Thank you guys for being here. Looks like I was wrong about Kang the Conquered, and you were right. So respect and credit to you, sir.
We're going to get into that. And I wish I could take a nap after this show, but you are talking about one of my favorite movies of all time tonight on Toxic Tuesday. So I cannot go to sleep early.
It's worth it. You can't just tell me that it's not worth it. It's worth it. And also, I may not be queer, but tonight we're going to have a very homoerotically great show. Gremlins and all.
That's right. We're talking Gremlins tonight on Toxic Tuesday. So stay tuned for that after the show.
Cool.
But we also have one more Canadian with us. We have Script Doctor here. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. Been busy all day today. It's been fun.
Have you now? That's good. Back to work, I hope.
Preps for the new year.
Sweet. All right. Well, as we get moving along here, that's right. This is the week before Christmas, or the week of Christmas, however you want to look at it. We're 2 weeks away from the new year, roughly, or just under. So yeah, we got some news to get into, but first we got a member here. Das Wolfen has been a member for 17 months. Thank you for that, Das Wolfen. We appreciate that. Yeah, I think to nobody's surprise, except for probably Jonathan Majors himself, he has been dropped now from the Marvel films going forward. This was something I actually reported back in April.
I saw your video earlier about it, the clip that you took from the stream when you said, hey, this just in. And Culture was actually there at that time on the stream.
Yeah, imagine that. He was actually on a stream for once. So yeah, the verdict came down, and not long after the verdict came down, Disney announced that they had cut ties with Jonathan Majors. And as I had said before, and Andre broke down eloquently in his video today that he dropped and put in there my report, that this is most likely something that happened back in April, and there's a lot of evidence to support that. And then now you even have one of the I can't remember his name. Was it Jeff Snyder or somebody like that who was saying something like, yeah, basically kind of not confirming, but saying he heard something similar to what I had heard originally anyway. And that was they were going to go forward without Kang either way at that point. Yeah, it just, or at least with this actor as Kang, whether or not they recast him or just go forward without him in general. So, yeah, I think that's the case. And I think had he been innocent, I don't think they were going to go forward with him anyway. I think we would just slowly learn that the Kang dynasty stuff was going to go away. That's the other part I think of. It was a Jeff Snyder, I think it was, the report that said, yeah, that they're not going to do the Kang dynasty anymore for Avengers 5. And I don't think anybody is surprised there. So just real quick, I want to get everybody's kind of reaction to the obvious here. No more Kang, or at least no more Majors in the Marvel universe. And I think you said it best, Script Doctor. He's been delegated now to the minors, so he's Jonathan Minor.
Yeah, he's back. He's going to the minors. He has a minor prison sentence. I think he's going into a prison with minor security. So there's a lot of minors going around for Jonathan Majors.
Well, we don't even know if he's going to go to jail or prison yet. We'll get into that in just a few minutes, but yeah, because he hasn't been sentenced. He won't be sentenced until February.
Wait, I thought I read in the trades he's got 1 year sentence. But where, or if it's complete,
I think it was the maximum.
I think he's supposed to be sentenced.
I think what they meant that he could face up to 1 year in prison.
Face up to 1 year. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what you misread, possibly. Because I think it's in February. I can't remember the exact date. He's got to go back, and that's when they'll actually give him his sentencing. But we'll get to the court part here in a minute. I just want to kind of talk about the Marvel stuff up front. Yeah, Script, how do you think this is going to go forward? Have you been hearing anything? Are you surprised?
Not surprised that they ditched him. I'd be more surprised if they decide to completely abandon their multiverse angle going on at Marvel Studios. Given how much they've leaned into it right now, it'd be very jarring, but also probably a sigh of relief to audiences that they're not dealing with the multiverse anymore if they decide to go that route. But yeah, I don't know. You're not going to hear anything news-wise for at least 2 more weeks, because this is the week that Hollywood has started to take off. They're not going back to work anymore. Vacations.
In fact, you know what's funny, Script, is when we had joked about that before, I'd heard that a lot of them didn't come back to any kind of work yet. There had been some deals and stuff made, but yeah, they hadn't actually. Yeah, so basically what we had been joking about was true, that yeah, they weren't going to really do anything but just announce it and then go back on break.
It's well, the only shows that came back were the ones that were talk shows.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
We have Mr. Man of the Hour himself finally joining us.
Hi, sorry.
Mr. Culture Casino.
Had to take care of a few things.
Where's he at, CC?
Still says 14.9, so probably needs about 5 more, right?
Come on, you guys.
15.
Quit embarrassing me.
Well, people are blue balling you.
I need 15 more, but that's fine.
And you said you wouldn't make it to the end of the year. You said you wouldn't get 15K by the end of the year.
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
You got
did
like
you-
another 1,200 in the past day or so.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you know what happened there, or what was the deal? Did you show a tit or something?
You happened. You and
What?
you 6 happened is what happened. I don't know.
How did we do that? We've been doing it for last month. How did all of a sudden
You
it
know-
take effect?
I don't know.
It's a large community, and with organization, with some channels out there having hundreds of thousands of subscribers, there's no reason we can't get culture to 15.
That's right.
Right.
I don't know why you would want to. I mean, I'm
But,
nothing special.
Yeah, let's get away from that for just a moment, but I'm going to get the link if they
Yeah.
haven't already in the chat. And you guys get over there and subscribe if you haven't already. Create another account. Let's get it up there. We want to see pigtails.
You're not going to see them now. So
No, well, eventually we will.
you will see them. Yeah. I guess I came in on the tail end of this discussion of the.
No, actually, we just started it. Script was just giving his thoughts on it.
Oh wow.
I just was asking everybody basically how they feel about the news come down. You know, are they really that surprised? How they think it's going to go going forward? I don't know if you had anything more to add to that script, but
Nope, nothing more right now. We'll see what I don't expect to get a for us to hear a pitch on what the new Avengers 5 is going to be titled until maybe as early as February is coming up.
yeah, probably. But they're expecting to go into production fairly early in the next year, is the latest rumors. So again, just rumors, but yeah.
And they want to do it as a 2-part thing.
Well, it always kind of was, but I think at least this was coming from I think was it Jeff Snyder's thing we were reading earlier, Culture on Mr. H's stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who was talking about that earlier, so I was right. And I think he had, in this again, take it with a grain of salt because it's just his rumors, but basically, yeah, he was saying that they're going to push forward with Secret Wars as a 2-parter, basically, which is what Andre had been saying for a while they should do anyway, because he says that the way Loki season 2 ended, it kind of tied up everything pretty well anyway. So
It could, yeah, absolutely. Loki is holding all the timelines together. Like literally.
that was what I was told.
Wow.
So yeah, Nick, what's your reaction to all this?
Well, no, I'll say I was one of the ones who entertained the possibility that Majors may have been innocent. Obviously, that wasn't the case. He was guilty as literally charged. And I don't think they're gonna replace him with Doctor Doom. And if they did, it wouldn't matter. I think they've kind of put themselves in a weird corner because they're like, oh, we can't recast T'Challa, and now it's like okay, well, if we recast Kang, people are like, hold on, but you didn't recast the Black Panther, so now they put themselves in this weird corner, which is not the only one that they've put themselves in 800 different corners. And there's also, but hold on, what about Kang from another universe who looks different? Kind of like someone could mention, oh, how come Spider-Man looks different in other universes? So why can't he be recasted that way? They should have never, ever tackled the multiverse. Maybe for one movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, that should have been the beginning, the middle, and the end of it. They should have never done this because now there's not only does it nothing matter, but now you have everyone thinking of these things, and it's going to bug everyone because like you're bringing all these characters back selectively, and you know they're out there in these other universes. This is just a mess of a thing to do. And to be fair, Kang is already a tough character to write. Even good writers way back when, have had a challenge of writing Kang the Conqueror. So he can be a great character when a writer takes a lot of time with that character. Anytime you involve time travel and coming from the future, it's tough to do, even for the best of us. It's just something they should have never tackled. They should have went with Galactus or Annihilus or Doctor Doom, but of course they chose to go with Kang the Conqueror, and they went with the multiverse, and everything is just an absolute fucking mess. That's all I got.
All right. Price, what's your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is, and I don't know if I should be thinking this, but I wonder to myself if Jonathan Majors was less diverse than he is, if they would have waited so many months to to tell people that he's not going to be working with them anymore. I almost feel like in his case, they were like, no matter what, let's wait, let's see a verdict. Let's say, even if they always intended to steer away from him, it feels like I've seen cases like, if we think about Gina Carano or different things like that, where somebody said half a word that they didn't like, and that person was gone in 60 seconds. Whereas this guy, they kept just kind of kicking the can for all these months. I don't know, just something I was thinking, that I wonder why in this case they kept kicking the can.
It didn't make a lot of sense. That's true.
Only the optics of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're so superficial now, which is the biggest problem. The nature of their superficiality. I don't think that's a word, but script can fix it if it's not.
Yeah, you're good.
I think it's always about these neo-Marxist ideals that they're foisting upon everything that they have, which damage their story credibility. That's all they can think of is race. They're so myopic. It's frustrating.
I never liked the Ken character to begin with, or the way they did it with Majors. And even before all of this stuff, I first of all was open to the fact that he could be innocent, and I thought that he should, get his day in court. But I never really liked his portrayal of this character to begin with. I thought it was kind of weird, and I thought he was being overhyped. Which I never thought he was as good as people said he was. The only movie that I thought he was kind of okay was Rocky 3, and he kind of needed to play a bully jerk guy there, and somehow that role fit him like a glove. But in Kang, which required
Like a boxing glove?
I mean, Kang required more versatility. And when I was watching Loki and he was trying to do all these different, like a different accent or something, I totally didn't buy it.
Price, you're talking about how he was really, really pushed on us. Obviously, the newest Midnight's Edge video covers that really well. He was the guy that they were trying to get to be a big star. It was very clear. I didn't really think of it at the time, but looking back in retrospect, that video nailed it. They were trying to make the push for him, especially if you remember all the red carpet promo around Quantumania. They kept going all in on Jonathan Majors.
They were talking about him as if
he's
was
the best thing about the movie.
The best
and then
thing
a
ever.
month later, yeah, right. They were going gaga about it. They were they were shilling to 11. Like, man, man. I was like, whoa! I've seen some shilling before, but this is the most shilled that ever shilled. Like, relax, guys. And I know some people who, I guess you could say, they didn't really like the movie, but they thought he was fine in it. But he was not obviously this big star they wanted to make him to be. And this is something modern Hollywood needs to understand. I am all for trying to give someone a push. If you see someone, you're like, okay, maybe this actor is under notice. Let's see if we could try to give him a push. But at the end of the day, the fans, the customers, the market decides who they want to be the big stars. Yeah, you can try, give them a little nudge, a little push, but you can't be the decider of that. It's what they're trying to do with Jonathan Majors. It's what they're trying to do with Captain Marvel. They want to decide what our big characters, what our big actors are for us, rather than say, no, hey, we decide what we like. It's absolutely fucking nuts. That's how Iron Man became so big as he was. It just happened. It wasn't like, oh, yeah, Iron Man's going to be like the main thing. It was just an organic thing.
They didn't even want him, to be honest. They didn't want Robert Downey Jr.
He was freaking, that's why, yeah, even in the comic book, he was a B-C-list character. They thought his movie was not going to be all that in terms of box office numbers. And, well, now he did have a good first weekend. It had legs, and still to this day has acclaim because the market saw it. If they got invested, and he was basically the head honcho of the MCU for 11 years. The market decided that, not freaking Hollywood. Hollywood needs to get a grip on that fact.
CC, what's your feelings on this?
It's a glass half full, glass half empty kind of situation, because, I mean, on the one hand, I do think that given the trajectory, Marvel's likely to make the X-Men the X-Men. But on the other hand, with the MCU in general, they've really focused on secondary characters. And yes, in the first 3 phases, they took secondary characters and made them very, very popular successfully. But on the other hand, characters like the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom and the X-Men, some of their biggest Spider-Man, upwards of Spider-Man level characters, have not been used or abused yet. So they certainly have an opportunity if they want to just actually change course and right the ship. There is an opportunity to just start something new with these characters. If they're really determined to keep going with Kang, well, they got the multiverse, and there's no reason they can't recast him. I heard, I think it was on HCast, someone said, or just cast Denzel Washington. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. You can do better than Jonathan Majors in many ways. And it's even if there's 1,000 Kangs that look like him, just cast someone else. People will get with it, or whoever's actually watching will, anyways.
Well, on that note, yeah, according to this recent report from CosmicBookNews.com, Kevin Feige is supposedly working on a more female-focused X-Men in the universe. So, yeah.
The X-Men, yes.
Yes, no longer men involved, meaning, or, yeah. So that's what you were referring to. So yeah, Culture, you came in here last. So what's your feelings on the Major leaving the Marvel Universe business, basically, and what do you think they'll do from here? That's kind of what we was asking.
Well,
about.
I feel like I've been reporting that since sometime in April or May. So I mean, it was definitely, the writing was on the wall, and the last people to come to grips with it was Disney, and they probably did it for a lot of different reasons. I don't think it's going to change anything other than the direction they were going. And I think Andre's probably right. We're going to end up with something completely different than the Kang dynasty, since everything's all about change. I think they're about to screw up the best thing that they had going, the X-Men and Fantastic Four, all at once, with what we're about to get with the new Avengers. So the Majors thing, look, you can't beat women, and you especially can't get caught in 4K doing it, and you certainly can't. I know you can. He runs really fast. I mean, like I said on the HCast, this dude could be on an Olympic sprinting team, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I anticipate that he'll bounce back at some point. Somebody's going to buy that magazine Dreams film from them, and do a lap around the Oscars at some point. And so this small mid tier studio or distributor is going to get that rather than Disney. But I think Disney's the optics were always going to be in the way here. So, it was more than predictable. And like I said, he'll eventually find his way back to Hollywood. It's going to take him some time, but he'll be back.
I think we'll never see him again.
You don't think so, Price? I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, like I said, Burt Reynolds beat the hell out of Lonnie Anderson how many fucking times, and everybody forgets about that real quick. But again, this guy's nowhere near Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly. At least, if nothing else, that guy was Burt Reynolds.
No, and I'm not even saying it was okay that he did this. I'm just saying, like, at that time period, people just kind of forgot about it. It wasn't it, but every other fucking day you had Lonnie Anderson with a black eye on the cover of the Acquired. It's like, yep, Burt beat her ass again. It's like
there's a couple of things for me here. I have known, and I'm sure we've all observed people who love conflict sex. It's like the harder you fight, the more you're yelling at each other, the harder you're going to do it later.
Wow.
The makeup sex, you mean?
Yeah, that is a thing. And that may be what happened here. That may be what he's into. On the other hand, I also have a friend who does get beat, and I'm not trying to take things down, but I'm sure a lot of people probably have had a friend in their life, knowing somebody who does, and this friend of mine's not allowed to talk to anybody, or it will get worse. And it can be a very, very bad thing as well. And I don't have any sympathy for anybody who engages in that kind of activity.
No.
What it was for Majors, I just don't know enough to know whether this is kind of like a mutual people just fighting or whether he's actually,
And that's fair. And we're going to get into that a little bit deeper here in a moment. But as far as his future in the MCU goes, I mean, as I reported a while back when I heard from, my source, and then I checked in with WDW Pro to see what he was hearing. He's like, yeah, I'm hearing same thing. I'm like, well, that's enough for me to go forward with it. And that's when we reported on it. And it was what, like a day or two after that, his agency dropped him. He lost all his other movies. And as Andre so poignantly pointed out, not too long after that, is like, he goes, I believe he's gone, because your agency doesn't drop you over a couple of projects that you lose, but they will drop you if you lose that big major Marvel contract you had. Because that's millions upon millions of dollars they're losing out on. So
it also shows that they don't believe you're innocent, meaning that they're not saying, yeah, maybe we'll stick around here. They got out really quickly.
Well, and that's kind of, I guess, what kind of lead us to the next part of this conversation as far as his guilty verdict. I mean, is it kind of shitty that the studio probably didn't wait until, the verdict was in? I don't know. I mean, from what we've been finding out and what I heard from the first place, at this point, he was already tainted. This was overshadowing that character. The character wasn't resonating with people. It's not like he was catching, fire. Sure, there was a lot of praise for his character in Ant-Man, but nobody went to see it. And Creed did okay, but nobody was going to see Creed because he was in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, at this point, I think they kind of had figured that this was not going to work out with this guy. He's like the next Channing Tatum, basically, more than he is the next Tom Cruise at this point. And when this actually happened, I mean, court-wise, you had nobody come out to support him. You didn't even have anybody come in as a positive character witness for him. In fact, I guess his actual agent, his physical agent, the one person that represents him left the company when he was ousted. So, I mean, that person supported him, but they didn't support him well enough to come into court and speak to their character. Like, he had zero character witnesses in court. And that was the other thing, is I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially when, his defense was coming out right away saying, well, there's video, there's this, there's that, and the other. But then as we actually got to see this supposed evidence, to me, it just wasn't adding up. And those text messages and the audio, to me, buried him. Those are the two things I think that buried him here. And I'll play the audio here in just a minute. I have it queued up. But I mean, to just talk about for a moment, because Script is, he could face a year in prison, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to get a probation sentence. He's going to have to go to anger management.
Community service.
And it'll happen so far away from now in February that nobody's going to pay attention but us. Right. He might even get community service, if that. It's a misdemeanor. That's the thing. I know people who have done a hell of a lot less than what he's been accused of and have gotten a lot worse. In most cases, most assaults are like low-level felonies no matter what. In this case, he kind of got off light. I know there's a lot of people who feel like he's innocent and he's getting, look, his real punishment is that he got booted from the MCU at the end of the day. Because I agree with most of you outside of Price who thinks he's done. I think eventually he'll make a comeback. I think he'll come back in some indie films. He'll do an interview in a few years where he'll talk about the progress he's made through anger management and all this other kind of stuff. He can't really do an apology tour because there's nobody who gives a shit about his apology anyway. That's the problem. So there's no real apology tour to be had. He just might get a little bit of heat off of something. And then when that happens, he'll do a little interview and people are like, oh yeah, nothing really was that. It wasn't that big of a deal. And they'll move on. And eventually he'll start popping up in some studio pictures, but I guarantee you it'll never be in a scene with a woman. He'll show up in these scenes like you see nowadays with some of these actors that kind of have sordid histories.
He's just going to be in gay scenes or something?
No, they'll just pop up like, and you have senators and old people show up in movies here from time to time. It's just rooms full of men and shit and stuff like that. Or like really kind of sterile scenes. He won't be a leading man. He'll be like cop number 2, right? Or bad guys. He may play bad guys. That might be a place where he finds a comeback. But even then, you're going to be hard pressed to find any women on the upper echelon of acting that will want to work with him. And there's enough wokesters in Hollywood that will refuse to work with him if he's on the project. So the only projects he's going to be able to get are ones where women will work with him that don't give a fuck, that they're just there to get their break or they just want to work, right? So those are the only projects that he's going to be able to do. And you're talking like low level stuff that's straight to video and streaming or whatever you want to call it nowadays. That's the best chance he's got for now. And then eventually Because even the guy who played Bubba on Forrest Gump beat the hell out of his wife and shit how many times and stuff. Of course, didn't he kill her eventually? Something like that.
Oh no! What?
But yeah,
I didn't know
I think he's in
that.
prison now. But even
Jeez.
after the first couple of times he got in trouble for it, he still got work. Right, that's the thing. In Hollywood, they're all fucking.
He's worked rather recently too. He's been in television shows over the last few years.
Oh, maybe he didn't kill her. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But he got in trouble for beating the hell out of her. I know that, and he went to jail or prison for a while. But maybe I'm mixing her up with somebody else. But again, it's just one of those things. In Hollywood, they don't give a fuck. As long as somebody isn't making a stink. Like, you even found out you had that one convicted diddler working in the Marvel universe, and they had to finally get him out of there. Yep. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, it was some low-level person who was playing like a SHIELD agent or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah.
With social media today.
Yeah, not Ezra Miller. That's DC anyway.
That's another thing that I don't. Once again, Ezra Miller gets off light. I mean, he was never the Flash anyway. The same way, even Jonathan Majors was debatably, I'd say, undebatably, was never even Kang. He was just some goofball goofing around, acting like he was Kang. He gets sentenced, and Ezra Miller, who we have seen hurt men and women and slap. Not even a slap on the wrist. He had a pinch. Absolutely bullshit. You're gonna jail these guys, jail them all. Don't just be selective with this shit. But nowadays him just being a regular black man, that was once he could use the race card, but now he's got to have the alphabet card now.
I was technically right. He was up for the attempted murder of his ex-wife. But he got acquitted. And then he got convicted of a road rage incident in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not wrong, because he went to prison at least, I knew once. And like when Scripps said he's out, I'm like, he's out? So they thought he stabbed his wife or some shit. So I wasn't wrong, but she lived. And he got, I don't know, maybe she fell on the knife.
She tripped and fell on the knife that I was holding 6 times. I don't know. She kept trying to get up and she kept falling right back down on it.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that. It's a tragedy, but Jesus fucking, like, how, unless he wasn't actually there or she faked it. Like, I don't understand how you. Look, I'm just sitting there cutting some fucking watermelon, and all of a sudden my wife walks in, she trips and shit 6 times. 6 fucking times she fell over on the knife. I was like, honey, quit falling on the knife.
I tried to take it away from her.
That's why my fingerprints are on it, sir.
She just kept holding it there. I don't know.
All right. Anyway, so besides the text messages, like I said, that was one of the most damning pieces of evidence he had when she was complaining about head pain and wanting to go to the hospital. And his whole thing was, he wasn't even denying that he caused the head pain. He was just saying, don't go because they'll call the cops. He was just all worried about himself, and he was all worried about the press and all that shit. But here's the audio recording that came out finally that we had seen a transcript for earlier. If you guys want to hear this real quick here and get it to play.
I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is going to be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama. Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm sorry.
Let me just lay it out for you, right? I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? And I'm gonna say it, I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately. Last night, 2 nights ago, you did not do that. You did not do that.
I'm sorry.
Which took away from the plan. And the plan is everything. If it was just you in the house drunk, maybe I could have swallowed it. Or I would feel bold enough like, oh, babe, let's just go to bed. I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not hungry, blah, 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 blah. Because Grace isn't here. Why? She was drunk. Why else? She was clogged by whatever was going on. You know what I mean? Fine. I can take that. Fine.
Introducing
Yeah.
Recharge.
So yeah, I don't think that really helped his case too.
No, that's thing about
That's the-
narcissists is they have to absolutely control what they believe to be truth and what everybody else perceives of the reality they've created, and it has to be absolutely controlled, right? If somebody tries or inadvertently or inadvertently tries to mess with that very carefully crafted reality that everybody sees and that they've created for themselves, that person has to be attacked, right? That person has to be excised. I definitely got that from that conversation anyways.
Well, I'd like to know who the fuck this motherfucker thinks he is. He's not curing cancer or some shit.
Right.
Like, you make fucking movies for fucking
No.
12-year-olds, dude. Like, what the fuck?
This is what happens when you start to believe your scripted statements.
Exactly,
You
and
know,
the
those
shit
people who were
people
on those
tell you.
statements with we're literally saving lives with the Eternals.
Exactly. No, the fuck you're not. Maybe keeping
No,
people
you're-
out of theater so they didn't get COVID at the time. But anyway, you were going to say something, Price. Sorry about that.
I just thought it was funny that he's like Coretta Scott King. I mean, I don't know why does he expect he thinks he's Martin Luther King? That's what he thinks he is?
Delusional. Anybody else got anything to say on Mr. Major's his views?
Sounds like an
if
actor.
Hollywood really wanted to turn things around with Marvel's MCU, Trash Kang. I don't know what I was gonna say King Trash, but Trash Kang. He's done. You've ruined his character. Not even a comic accurate version could save this. They need to reboot it, but to them, if they reboot it, that is them admitting failure, and they don't want to admit failure because there is no humility amongst this mega corporation. So they rather just burn it all down the same way Mark Waid would.
Motherfucker thinks he's Martin Luther King.
I can see how what he's saying though would have got him into that position in the first place, right? Like the message, the modern message would love that. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna change the world, you're gonna save lives. If he's all over that, you know, that would have worked for him at a time.
I have a dream that all the multiverses will live together in harmony.
Seriously, I really think he must have read those scripts for the red carpet premieres, and to the point where he now believes his dialogue he was supposed to say. Guys, at the end of the day, you're actors, you're performers, you're actors, you are figureheads, you're entertainers. You're not changing the world. We want to enjoy your company while we're on the silver screen with you, not worship the throne you walk on.
We will no longer be judged by the color of our Captain Marvels, but by how many Hulks we have.
He sounded like Kenny Powers, but just not satire.
Trying not to laugh.
Hoy. I got nothing. I got nothing. I really got nothing.
Holster, you're kind of quiet. Good show.
Well, no, I mean, my thoughts are pretty clear. I mean, you guys are all insinuating he believed his press clippings, and he probably shouldn't have. But it's not like he doesn't have some kind of a talent. I but at the same time, to be an actor, just like to be a politician, you have to have a certain amount of sociopathy in you, and I think he revealed not only his narcissism but his extreme level of sociopathy. So, I mean, people who can abuse other people like that mentally, it's not a big jump to get them to go there physically. So, and again, they also unsealed a lot of information from some issues that happened in the UK. So, I mean, there's a lot of things out there in the world.
I never did
about
really catch what was from the UK part of it either.
Yeah, well, they didn't
From what
get,
I can tell, most of it was from that night in March.
yeah, they didn't get enough play on that, and despite the fact that he has a history of not being a super great guy. I mean, he had
Well,
some,
that's what
and
that
the reason that
recording is from. That could be.
well, but I mean, you've pointed out, Tom, he didn't really have any character witnesses, and a lot of people that have worked with him had very little nice things to say about him. When we first got into the investigation proper, if you remember. So it wasn't batting 1,000 there. I kind of feel bad because you got to have at least somebody that's going to have your back and talk about you in a positive light. At least you would hope.
Well, if he walked into every room and said, "I am a great man," then maybe some of the people didn't like that.
I think that might be possible, Price, but he was a great man.
Was he?
I mean, Kang. Kang was a great man.
Does he know?
Mm.
Oi, yeah, Jonathan Majors. This was literally the peak of his career, not the obviously domestic case of it all, but where as far as he went in Hollywood, his best days, as far as I guess in terms of how big his name is, are now officially behind him. He can try to live on in the indie world, and if he does, great. If he turns his life around, great. But the guy's already hit has-been stage, and he's still young. It's not a good position to be in.
Infinite Wanderers here. How you doing, Infinite Wanderer? Been a while since I've seen you in chat. Sends in $5. Says, Tom, could you get Arch back on one day? Arch. Who are we referring to? I'm at a blank here, drawing a blank here. Infinite Wanderer, help me out. GW officially announced that 40K Amazon series, God help us all. Yeah, I heard that. I've been looking to see if Henry Cavill's going to be involved as he thought he was originally. So curious on that point. But other than that, a little worried it's on Amazon for those who are fans. But yeah.
Chat saying
Archcast.
Archcast, yeah.
What's Archcast?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did I have Archcast on before? Or did we have him on the main trail? I'm not familiar with him.
If someone says Arch Warhammer Games Workshop forced him to remove the Warhammer part. Oh, he's a channel. Yeah, sorry. Don't know him.
I'm trying to figure out, yeah.
He's another
The Archcast here.
The other Norwegian, apparently, from
Yeah, I think Andre had Arch on.
Maybe. Oh, I think I might know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'd have to ask Andre. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. I think I remember who you're talking about. All right. Yeah, I'll bring that up to Andre. Okay. All right. I kind of have a vague memory who you're talking about now. Yeah. We do so many fucking shows, guys. And I know a few Norwegians actually, but yeah, that's the other problem. But yeah, I think I have an idea of who you're talking about now. But all right, I'll bring that up to Andre. Thanks for the $5, and we'll check it out. Jason Webster sends in Australian $10. Says Marvel became complacent, pushing agenda, rushing out many lesser quality films too quickly, and immediately turning lesser non-established characters into replacements for established characters. Exactly, Jason. That's the problem I have with the upcoming Avengers films. I could give a shit. There's no Avengers left I care about. Outside of Spider-Man and Thor and maybe Hulk, if he's even still Hulk. Like, he's basically like the Culk or Cuck or whatever the fuck you want to call him now. Yeah, I guess nobody else has much to say about that.
We really see the MCU really put us in the biggest I don't give a shit status. It's interesting how Deadpool 3 is going to play out because I do still think they're going to have a good opening weekend. Deadpool has his fans. Hugh Jackman still has his fans. But I don't know how much of the MCU goodwill fans are going to be remaining. I think you'll probably have maybe like 100. I mean, granted, it's a ways away, but maybe like 120, 130 million opening. I mean, watch. I said the same shit about the Marvels. End up being a lot lower. I still think it's going to do better than Marvels, but I'm kind of worried now. Like, no, not worried. Just I'm kind of like, oh shit, wow, they are absolutely screwed, and yet they're still putting out all these movies with the same budgets. They won't let it go. And who knows what's going on with Spider-Man? I mean, that keeps changing every month, year. I remember back in January 2022 when there was a rumor that maybe he was going to sign on to do another trilogy and maybe be a guest appearance in one movie. I think that was what the rumor was after No Way Home, but we haven't heard anything since. Bro,
I think the last I heard, he's got like 2 more movies and another appearance in the MCU or something like that in his contracts. Could be wrong though.
Oh, whichever one is, man, they gotta figure out what they're gonna do about it because I don't know. Marvel is gonna have to start learning to bend over backwards for somebody. That's clear that they don't want to do that. They still somehow think that they're number one and on top, which they're not anymore. They still think that they could be the true, like, hey, no, we have the power. It's like, no, guys, Sony has the power. They have Spider-Man. You have the X-Men,
Video
but you don't
games.
even know how to use the X-Men.
Video games in Japan is what's going to happen. Well,
And I
it's
want to
already
remind people
happening.
to check out Culture Casino's channel. If our mods can share the link again, that'd be great.
I
still
think
gotta get 'em
every
there.
single person who's watching this stream is probably subbed to him. All 546 of you.
Yeah, I think
Double check. You never know. Get your butt over there and check real quick.
If you got a second channel, just hop over there quickly and get him the extra sub.
You guys are crazy.
Let's do it. Do it now.
It'll happen organically. It'll be fun.
I'm actually amazed that you're getting all these subs and YouTube's not trying to wipe them out. I think that's actually more impressive.
Let's talk about Star Trek and Tarantino.
Oh, yes. I'd sign me up for that.
Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie writer calls Unmade Pitch the greatest Star Trek film, says the director just didn't want it to be his last movie. That says more about Paramount and Star Trek than it does anything else. Quentin Tarantino fans were sent into a frenzy in late 2017 after it was announced that Paramount and Star Trek producer J.J. Abrams had accepted Tarantino's pitch for a new Star Trek movie and were working with the Revenant screenwriter Mark L. Smith to iron out the script. Project ultimately never got made, but Smith recently told Collider while promoting his project, the George Clooney-driven directed drama The Boys in the Boat, that it would have been the greatest Star Trek film.
Sure.
We'll see what he has to say here. Quentin and I went back and forth. He was going to do some stuff on it, and then he started worrying about the number, his kind of unofficial number of films. Smith said, I remember we were talking, and he goes, if I can just wrap my head around the idea of that Star Trek could be my last movie, the last thing I ever do, this is how I want to end it. Is this how I want to end it? Sorry. And I think that was the bump he could never get across. So the script is sitting there on his desk. So he was actually going to direct it. Okay, so this is news. Before, I don't know if he was necessarily going to direct it. I think they were just looking at the way we understood it was going to be a co-written Quentin Tarantino project, but he didn't necessarily wasn't going to direct it. I think this is the first time we've had any kind of official confirmation on that part. Because even in his little speech where he's talking about JJ, I don't remember him talking about directing. He's just talking about writing, from what I thought. But I mean, I guess you could just assume he would want to direct. Huh. But because he said he's going to be retiring from films, he didn't want that to be his last movie. He wanted the movie critic to be his last film. He said, and then Smith goes on to say, I know he said a lot of nice things about it. I would love for it to happen. It's just one of those things that I could never see happening. But it would be the greatest Star Trek film, not for my writing, but just for what Tarantino was going to do with it. It was just balls out kind of thing. But I think his vision was just to go hard. It was a hard R. Oh, wow. It was going to be some Pulp Fiction. There was going to be some Pulp Fiction violence, Smith continued. Not a lot of the language was saved, a couple of things for special characters to kind of drop that into the Star Trek world. But it was just really the edginess and the kind of that Tarantino flair, man, that he was going to bring to, because was going to be bringing to it. It would have been cool. Says it would have shook up the long-running franchise, similar to how Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok created a new tone for Marvel movies. I liked it because I think it was different, but the way that Ragnarok changed things, it was suddenly had a different feel for the Marvel stuff. It was like, that's fun, that's different, Smith said. And I guess Guardians of the Galaxy to some level, but it was just like different vibe, and that's what I thought that it could bring to Star Trek, that it was just a different feel. Tarantino's script was largely earthbound story set in the 1930s gangster era setting, appeared to take inspiration from a piece of the action, the 17th episode of the second season of Star Trek, the original series. So yeah. There you go. So what's people think about that? I thought that was an interesting story with some revelations to be had on the Tarantino. I'd like to see him release it at least as a book or something.
Well,
I'm not
Tarantino's been doing a
Trekkie.
lot of writing. He probably will.
I think he should just rationalize it that it doesn't actually count as the final film because it's Star Trek and it's not an original IP.
No, it's his final film.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Tarantino only wants to do 10, which I
He
don't
should-
believe he's going to retire after 10.
yeah, there's
I
no
don't
way.
either.
Just find an excuse. Say because it's Star Trek and it's not Pulp Fiction, you're writing it for an existing IP. It doesn't actually count in the 10 movies, and you go ahead with it.
He'll do a mini series or something. He'll do something still, but maybe not movies.
Well, he's still kind of working on that Western with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, he's got a lot of it shot, and I think he's just cutting it together and trying to get a distribution for it, right?
I thought Netflix had already picked it up, but yeah, I don't know. Because I heard Netflix, I thought they did a deal for that, and they were supposed to be getting an extended cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well.
I'd like to see that.
Same.
But yeah, no, I don't see him all out retiring, because I know part of his inspiration for retiring is that he's got kids now, or at least one kid, I mean. I think he has two, but I'm not sure. And once the kids get old enough, or kid gets old enough, he's going to be like bored. Just like most dads get. And then he's going to like, I want something to do. And he's going to write something, and he's going to like, I got to make this fucking movie. You know what I mean? And it'll hit him again. But like Price is right. I think he's even said before that he's going to work on some miniseries and some other things too. So he's directed TV and stuff like that in the meantime.
Yeah, none of that counts in the 10. It's like, he's already done more than 10 things.
The other excuse he said is he wanted to go out while he was still on top of his game. He didn't want to be one of those directors that just keeps hanging on, hoping that, the next one will be the good one. So then maybe they can retire. He doesn't want to get to that point, he said.
I mean, I guess the trouble with that is, you make a bad movie, right? You don't make the bad movie until you start making the bad movies, if that makes sense. And then suddenly you've made 2 or 3 or 4 in a row. I can understand that, but at the same time, there are cases where people don't get old and dumb.
Martin Scorsese.
Not everyone is Kevin Smith.
I was just going to bring up Scorsese. Yeah, go ahead, Spray.
I'm saying that maybe not all of his movies are winners, but he's been making, and he's already old, and a lot of stuff was good.
Clint Eastwood's another great example, yeah. No, I don't think he's done. I think he'll make a comeback at some point. I think he just wants to be able to have something to talk about. I think the only other thing that might be scaring him right now is I think he thinks that maybe this younger audience is not into his stuff. And I think he's kind of saying that with this whole thing with, agreeing with Scorsese about the whole Marvel films aren't cinema, but they are the movies that people grew up with now, and they're basically movies to people now. And I think when he said, people wouldn't know what to do with a movie like Taxi Driver, I've always said, well, you can insert any of his movies there too, because I don't think a lot of these kids nowadays would know how to register something like Pulp Fiction. Because they'd be
They
going
might
like, well,
not, but eventually
who's
they're
the
going to just
superpowered superhero? Where, why doesn't he have powers and shit like that? And who's the hero and who's the bad guy? And anyway, you were saying, CC, sorry.
I was going to say they're, maybe right now they're not, but they will 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. There are things that will transcend the moment and will be timeless and will be discovered. And I would put his movies in that category. It's not something he should. It's not something he should be worried about.
I want to see the script.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
It worries me
And
that they said it would be like Ragnarok.
Well, I think that it would be fun, because also I think he's already addressing that it would be R-rated, but the it sounded like from the way that Mark Smith was explaining it here, that the swearing wouldn't be coming from the Star Trek cast so much as it would be the people around them in the 1930s and stuff.
Probably, yeah.
That's what I was taking.
I think
what he
the
was
R
saying
rating is the 30s crude language and possibly the violence would be what they're suspecting.
I think it could have shook Trek up, and it would have been like, here you go, Kurtzman, here's how you do adult Trek. I wish Klobby was here to comment on this, but yeah.
Well, okay, so I've been thinking about it. I think that if anybody could write good Star Trek, it would be Tarantino. I think that
Tarantino could write a good phone book, man. He could write.
I'm just saying. I feel like this is a missed opportunity, and since it isn't his own property, I mean, he wouldn't be doing harm to anything that he came up with himself. I wonder what it can't just be about the fact that it's going to be his last movie. I just feel like this would be, if he makes this decision and sticks with it, it'll be the one thing he probably regrets.
We'll have to wait and see what happens with it. Maybe he'll release it as a book. That would be cool. The script's right. He has been doing a lot of writing and whatnot lately.
I will add, if he makes this movie, I don't think it'll actually change the course of Star Trek. It'll do moderately well. It'll be very popular in certain pockets, as fans of Quentin Tarantino, some fans of Star Trek, but it won't like suddenly create the day that Kurtzman stops controlling Star Trek. It'll just be a great thing in the midst of other bad things. Like, that's my impression anyways.
Well, there wasn't too much else. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's not going to make $1 billion at the box office. It's not going to change the course. That's all.
No, you're fine. But yeah, so there wasn't too much else to really discuss yet. We're reaching that end of the year season. As far as the movies that are coming out, I mean, Aquaman's shaping up to be an Aqua Bomb.
Same with Rebel Moon.
Moon. Well, Rebel Moon was never meant to be a release. I'll give it that much. I mean, it's just that's just to drum up interest, and they think it might get some special effects Oscar or some shit. Probably that's why they're putting it in 3 theaters.
Possibly.
I know. Color Purple's coming out here soon. I don't know if anything is really going to compete with Godzilla this holiday season in Wonka. I think Wonka is going to be the winner of the holiday season. I'm curious what you guys think, but yeah, I mean, we're kind of just hitting that point, and it's heading into the end of the year, into fuck you January. So,
man, January is going to suck rocks, man.
No, it's not.
January
people can talk about.
Right, but I mean, there's not going to be a lot.
Well, that's just the way it is. It's gearing up a pilot season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reacher is going to be worth talking about. You guys did a great job with that script over on Nina's channel.
Nick, you should check that out. It's a good series so far.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to. I have. That's one I've been wanting to since season 1. Just sadly, I haven't got around to it. It's just I know obviously Thursday I'm gonna watch The Family Plan and The Iron Claw, and then hopefully somewhere before then and after I can watch Reacher, because I like what I've seen of the actor. The actor seems like he's got that action hero potential. He's got like a cool name. He's obviously he's a monster of a dude. So I'm like, I just hope he has a one-liner or two, and then he would just be perfect.
He does have a few one-liners, actually.
Oh, yes! Okay. I'm speeding up the process to watch your Reacher now. That's all you had to sell me on was one-liners. Oh, I could throw something out my window now. This is exciting. Oh, okay. Reacher it is. And I'm trying to think what else is I know Ghostbusters is in March. God.
Yeah, we did get some posters and an image today at Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I saw an image of Bill Murray. Bill Murray
and Paul
was
Rudd.
that one
Yeah,
image of Paul Rudd. Yeah,
in the containment room, which looks just like the original, which is great.
that's cool. They must have rebuilt it old school style.
Well, the interior was it a set script or was it just a station in California?
The basement part was in a set. The station in California was the one that they used for Big Trouble in Little China, a whole bunch of other films.
And then the exterior was in New York. Yeah.
Yep. Hook and Ladder number 8.
So yeah, it'd be basically 3 or 4 locations they used for the entire set. There you go, guys. There's a first look at Bill Murray and Paul Rudd in Frozen Empire. And we also got a pair of posters here.
Please just be an entertaining movie, even if it's an average. I'm not saying it as a means to settle for average, but more so just I don't want it to be a global warming preaching story. If it happens to be a world got frozen and they got to undo it, okay, great. But please.
Well,
I warned you guys that was where shit was going to go next.
You did.
But here's the other pack too. Dan Aykroyd has been dying to do a Ghostbusters meets Hell story.
Or Hell freezes
over. One
over
of the
and
things that
shit.
you might not be aware of is that prior to Dante's Inferno, Hell was depicted as a cold and icy realm. And that might be the angle that Dan Aykroyd is reconciled with Reitman and his other writing partner in order to do this Frozen Empire thing.
My concern is how are they going to make it exciting? And I'm not saying they can't.
Yeah.
But I mean, the concept is, okay, fear and they're going to freeze or it's going to turn into ice. Okay, well, how do you make that tension for the audience? How do you make it frightening? And as you have to lean into it in a certain way, and so it doesn't become Ghostbusters 2 with the slime going through the sewers, which I liked Ghostbusters 2, but it didn't quite land in terms of the
That's
villain.
the problem I'm having, CC, is I'm getting some Ghostbusters cartoon vibes out of this. So I'm hoping I'm wrong, but yeah.
Is Bill Murray going to be in more than one scene this time?
I hope so. He was actually part of the production, it seems like, this time, and not where they were waiting for, like they were in the last one, just to see if he showed up or not. That's why he's like hardly a part of it, because they're like, if he shows up, we got a spot for him. If he doesn't, no big deal. Like, yeah.
So they gave him the 2 moments, the one at the farm and then the one with Sigourney Weaver.
Yep. So we'll see how much more he's in this one. I feel like this one will probably kind of pass the torch on, or you'll have like what they might do. It's because you see the one shot in the trailer where you got the young crew in the red jackets like they are on the poster there. You see them on the building thing. I think they'll have like the old crew and the young crew doing 2 separate things for the ending. Like they'll figure out they have to separate and work as a team that way. And maybe, I don't know, hopefully nobody will get sacrificed, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
It'd be very off-brand if they did.
It would be, but I could see Bill Murray doing something like that. Like sacrificing himself somehow.
To be fair, he looks like he's 100, and I'd say that would be a good character heroic death if he did have his character. On top of it, Bill Murray, I don't think he even really wants
I could
to
see
do
him
these
doing it because
movies
guess what?
anymore.
He loves this town.
Oh,
He would do anything to save New York.
Wasn't
New
Bill
York,
Murray
yes.
canceled?
Sort of, but not really.
Yeah,
Plus,
kind of.
plus the rumor is that one character that we keep seeing in the trailer that nobody knows who it is. People are saying that's Oscar. The other rumor is that's not Oscar, but it's actually Janine's kid, aka Rick Moranis and Janine's kid. Yeah. Which either way, they'd both be roughly the same age-ish. So yeah.
Rick Moranis, he's retired or something, right?
No, but he didn't say he just didn't come back for the last one. I'm curious if he'll pop up for this one. He's actually making a Honey I Shrunk the Kids reboot last I knew.
Reboot qual.
Is that still happening?
I guess. I don't know. I haven't heard anything since, but that was prior to the strike too.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Man, I'd love to see it, but I haven't heard any of that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, because it was like going to be Josh Gad replacing his son. And then it sounded like it was going to be more of a passing of the torch to Josh Gad. Because the main plot of the film is after the death of his wife, he goes missing.
Oh, the death of his wife?
Yeah.
They gotta kill off his wife?
Well, they think he ends up shrinking himself or whatever it is. And disappearing. But yeah, so it's all about the searching for... So it's basically the Force Awakens of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That sounds like an Adam storyline from the comics in DC.
Something like that, yeah.
Where's Ray Palmer when we?
I was just going to say
now?
that or Ant-Man, yeah.
No, that's something that I think some of the Elseworlds comics had. Like the Atom retires, and by the way he retires is he shrinks down to something small and then lives in with a bunch of forest nymphs that are also the same size or something of that nature. Can't remember if it was like a late 60s or 70s comic, but it was weird.
My knowledge of Atom Comics was the Ray Palmer from, I think, the short run Graham Nolan drew on, actually. He had a really brief stint on the Atom. And, of course, the stuff of Ray Palmer on Hawkman was really good, too. No, I'd be down for Palmer Tech.
Well, all right. I think we're going to wrap this up here. But we've got Toxic Tuesday in how long?
An hour.
All right, I gotta link this to that.
Oh, give the chat that hyperlink. Yeah.
Because we're gonna talk some Gremlins. Lord knows, I might let somebody else talk.
Script would be excellent on Thinking Critical's channel on Comics Aficionados. He would be excellent. I agree, Kalechi. Assuming I said his name right. I apologize if I messed up. Yeah,
Nick,
Wes is a good dude. What?
I love
What's
you.
wrong?
That's
What's
Gizmo
wrong?
from part 2.
Oh.
I know. I did that on purpose. You gotta understand.
You did the same thing with Ninja Turtles, man.
I did. You gotta understand. I'm doing what's best for the thumbnail. And you know, when I remember when I looked at it and I said,
I love is how sincere
I knew
you
when
are
I
about
made my
this.
thumbnail for last night, I said they're gonna point this out, and I'm like, yes, I did because I have really bad OCD, and that's what I was thinking about. I didn't want to just pick any shots. I'm like, whatever, it's freaking Gizmo. That's all we see on there, and that's all. Hey, Timo thinks I did Justice by twice now. What's the third sequel I'll use a thumbnail for a first movie?
Rainbow.
Hey. Shh. Shh. People will find out in a few more hours about that one. Watch me say that now. That actually happens.
Yeah. Well, I was just quoting him from the second film, but anyway. But yeah. All right, so I'm looking forward to that in just about an hour or so, give or take. And then we've got what else we got coming up here tonight? Script, you got anything going on?
Not that I know of yet. It's just probably gonna make some late dinner.
Enjoy your dinner, sir.
Yeah, late dinner. Doing some more last preps on the Scripts on Saturday show. That'll be starting on the first Saturday of January. So look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, that's it for now. In the near future, working on a Christmas video to drop Christmas, and I am eager to to see Rebel Moon because I can have fun reviewing that.
You're the only one I know who wants to see it who will probably not actually be disappointed and lie about it.
No, I'll be very honest. In fact, I'm even doing I'm collecting some very, very apropos comparison clips of Zack Snyder to prove a point about who he is.
Well, I'm the first one who said if I like it, I will admit it. But if I don't like it, well, I'm not gonna hold back.
All right. And then we've also got Culture here. Get his ass up there to 15,000. Come on, guys.
I'm still 8 away. It's fine. And
how are you still 8 away? Come on. There's got to be at least 8 people out there who don't realize they've been unsubscribed from your channel.
And YouTube has been taking them away because I'm watching the number go up and down and up and down. And you know what? A watched number never rolls over.
Dirty motherfuckers.
It's
You're
fine.
getting blue balled.
It's
They're
fine.
doing it on purpose just to be pricks. They don't want me to have my fucking fun.
That's right. There are no pigtails in your future, Tom.
Oh, there will be.
There'll be pigtails.
Oh, yes, there will be.
Very soon.
We can make sure this. I'm going to pump this out. Are you going to be on the morning show?
Yeah, I'll be on it for a
That's
little bit.
right. So you'll get it
I only have
tomorrow.
that hour, but yeah.
Yeah, because Andre's leaving, so because he's going to see Aquaturd.
Oh yeah, that comes out this week. I forgot that.
So hopefully
comes
you're
out.
there, Script.
Yeah,
does
you
it come
need
out? Does it come out this week in the U.S. too, or is it just overseas? I think it's just
it comes out this week in the U.S.
Yeah, Aquaturd.
They just need to admit that he's done playing Aquaman, that he's Lobo. Just admit it, Jason. We all know it.
We do know that, but yeah, no. Aquaduki starts here officially Thursday for previews.
There you go. Tomorrow or this Thursday? You mean today?
Yeah, in like 2 days.
Tomorrow, 2 days from now. What day is it? I don't even fucking know.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday today.
Right? Yes,
Yeah, because
I'm pretty sure
Nick's got the show called Toxic Tuesday.
That's right. It's Toxic Tuesday. I stayed up too late last night. I'll fucking admit it. I'm like, I'm just gonna put in JFK just to see how it looks for a few minutes, and then I'm going to bed. 3.5 fucking hours later, I'm searching on the internet. How accurate is JFK?
It's a good movie.
Surprisingly, it's one of the more accurate fucking films out there.
It is.
You go through this shit and you're like, holy shit, all this shit actually fucking happened? Like,
I know.
And we're still sitting here going, we're still trying to get the papers all out. Like, there's still over 1,000 papers, I think, that still haven't been fucking released. I checked into this shit. Like, just as of like a couple months ago, Biden signed some deal to get the rest of the papers brought out, and they still haven't done it. So there's these historians who are suing to get the rest of them released and redacted or whatever. Yeah, it's or unredacted or whatever the word is, and all that business. So yeah, this is still something that here we are this many fucking years later, and it's still going on. But guess what? Basically, all we keep learning is that everything that was in the movie was more or less accurate. So
there's some inaccuracies, there's some accuracies. It's overall an entertaining watch. Kevin Costner does give a good performance in the movie overall, but yeah, there's definitely some off things about it, but it's still worthy of a watch.
I'm not so sure anymore, D-Bud. Have you seen some of the more recent shit that's come out? Check into it, man. There's a lot of stuff out there now. There's pretty much, we've come to a point where there has to have been another shooter, right? They cannot.
Yeah,
they even
found
found
the Secret Service by accident, not knowing where to fire back.
Well, and then with the other,
they accidentally leaked in 1964.
Well, there was another Secret Service guy who just recently come out again here too. After all this paperwork came out, and was talking a little bit about it too. And he was one of the people that was with Jackie right after it happened and shit. So like, there's a bunch of shit that's been just recently coming out. I'm like, how is this shit still coming out? Like craziness. But anyway, yeah, I stayed up too fucking late watching a movie last night. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you up to 15,000 yet, Culture?
We are.
Oh my god,
7 away.
Come on, guys. Let's make this happen. Alec Baldwin will show up to your house if you don't.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's not okay.
You're taking your life in your own hands.
Eh,
Your life might just depend on it.
Woo.
you know what? That is still one of the best Christmas movies ever.
The magic bullet had pixie dust.
It didn't want to grow up.
Perfect, pristine bullet. So yeah, culture. What you got going on, or did you already plug your shit?
Yeah, I'm 5 away now. And
Better.
thank you.
See, all I had to do was threaten Alec Baldwin on their ass.
Yeah.
Come on, 5. We got to get 5 now. That seems like it's within our reach.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like there's
It's
something
like
wrong
the edging
with
of
all
a
of you.
century.
Something wrong with all of you. You're wanting it too much, Tom. You're wanting it too much.
Yeah. Well, we did get a shirtless casino, so now we want to have pigtails.
Now
casino.
we're 3 away.
Soon it's
Okay,
gonna be
3.
Speedo casino soon.
Yeah, and I'm already hard at work on the T-shirt for Cyberspunk. So welcome.
Ugh.
Everybody wants
Show
one of
your
those.
cyber spunk.
We're 2
Hello
away
now
now.
at Beach Spunk.
2 away.
Surely
Oh,
2
two.
people in the chat have a second
Come
account.
on, 2 people.
Well,
in the
while we're
chat have
waiting-
to do this.
See, YouTube just took one away.
Jay, what do you think about
No.
this?
Watch,
Jeez,
he's gonna hit 15K, and then when he actually hits 15K, it's gonna like knock out like 200 of them. You know it's gonna happen too.
Or the best part is going to 15K and then one down and one up
He
and one
got
down over and over
15K.
again.
He got 15K, guys.
Wait,
Take a
where?
picture, take a screenshot,
It's
screenshot it.
14,998. 14,999.
I think you're mistaken, culture. How do I share? Something in the chat?
Yeah.
Well done.
All right.
Thank you, Arthur.
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Here's a preview of the ridiculousness.
Oh, man, you bound that any tighter, it's going to cut off circulation.
Yeah, we're 6 when we need her.
So
I'm
you're
sure
going to
she's
do at least
watching.
one 6-minute daily with the pigtails, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh. Nice.
Oh, you just gotta do member because
We
of
just
it,
got a
Tom. Look at
member
that.
because of this. Look at this. Bear beard whiskers. I always have trouble saying that. Has become
Hair,
a member.
beard, whiskers.
Okay, now
Hair, beard,
understand.
whiskers.
This is only lasting for a few seconds, and then the next time you see
Oh, I
it,
just screenshotted this on my screen right now. I just screenshotted it.
I think we all did.
The
now you
memes
have to
are going to
delete
be
the screenshot
glorious.
if I go below 15K.
Did he take
thanks,
him out
Tom.
already? He
Everybody,
took him out
thank you
before
all.
I could even finish the screenshot. Jesus.
Hey,
Okay,
you-
got
you-
the
Screenshot the replay.
You get it
Here,
for
I'll tag
real.
you all on Twitter right now. It's okay.
You get
I
it.
got
You
I
get
got
it
one
for
too.
real. I will do a 6-minute daily with the pigtails. Okay, that's it.
Congratulations,
That's
brother.
higher.
Price, did you get to plug your stuff? I'm sorry, brother.
No, it's okay. I did a Rebel Moon review. I
Oh,
didn't
wow.
really.
Yeah, what did you
Talk
think
about-
of that real quick? I forgot to even ask you about that.
I thought that it suffers from what Snyder's movies usually suffer from, and
story.
if I had to quickly sum it up, there's a lot of things I didn't like there, but here and there's something that maybe I did like, which was hard for me to sort of give it a grade because I think there's more stuff I didn't like, but it wasn't a complete disaster. I guess that's how I felt.
It probably helps that it was an original property and not him trying to latch onto an IP for him to butcher. That definitely helps.
That being said, how much of a Star Wars ripoff did it feel like, actually?
It did feel like a Star Wars ripoff. It's sort of, I mean, I don't think this is spoiler because I'm not saying what the story is, but it starts off with kind of a New Hope situations that kind of really almost like a carbon copy in a few moments of A New Hope, and then it looks like one part that he watched a Phantom Menace and came up with some idea that's a little different, but it still feels like he saw the movie and then thought of the idea, and maybe a little bit of Empire Strikes Back. So not very original. Even though it's his original properly, I didn't feel it was very original. It had some agenda stuff which was disappointing, and
Of course it did.
I didn't love it, but there were parts of it that I didn't hate. But
Ringing endorsement.
so my review covers it. I even invented a word, a new term in the review, which hopefully people will be able to use.
Such as?
Well, I can tell you guys. It's a spoiler for my review, but I'll tell you. I invented a word called Snyderia. And
Snyderia. I like it.
I explained what that means in my video, and I feel like that was actually probably the best part of my video.
Oh, that's
I like that.
fantastic.
I'm going to add that because I got 2 new Snyder words today. Snafia is the other one. Because they are. They run like the mafia, a bunch of bully tactic bullshit. And then I like that. It's a full of Snyderia. So anything that looks like Snyder shat all over it. There you go. Explosive diarrhea. But yeah, was there a woman who was the answer to everything?
Yes, it's the protagonist is a hybrid between a girl boss and the girl that's the key to everything.
Of course there was.
Wow.
No
surprise
there.
And now we're down under 15K.
Ah, yeah. But did you?
Because you took the fucking pigtails out, asshole.
I don't get it. How did you lose it? You just had it.
That's YouTube, dude. That's what happens.
Oh.
You hit the landmark and then you got to hit again. I remember when I hit, I think 900. I hit 900 subs 4 times. I was like, wow, YouTube really does not want me to hit 1K. So they and then somehow I go ahead, script.
Well, they do that if they link multiple accounts to one principal account. That's one of the things. In fact, I was going through my analytics while cleaning up my channel, and I saw that YouTube specifically says we've just removed 200 subscribers from you because they're all sourced from the same. They all come from the same source, and it's like, oh, so that's what they did. And when you're doing, especially when you're a younger channel and you're doing a lot of pushes for reaching certain thresholds, lots of fans, and we always appreciate them doing it, do sign up with more than one account. And if it gets to a certain threshold, YouTube will then scrub all of them because they want authentic users to watch their stuff, not bots. And that's one of the reasons why situations like yours, Nick, where you got 900 multiple times, probably because you have some really great, dedicated, diehard fans that wanted you to get over that threshold and were doing what they could to help. And YouTube was not having any entertaining those actions. That's the thing. But I mean, we all grew. We all got to those higher numbers. So
yep. Now I'm doubled that. Now I'm past 1,800 now. So
yeah, and more to go.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course. The best is yet to come. Congrats, CC. You'll hit 15K 2 or 3 times, and it's gonna be.
He's just obsessing over those ones he just lost. That's what he's pissed about.
Think about the ones you lost.
Yeah, we'll get you back again tomorrow morning. We'll get him back again.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, CC, what have you got going on?
Dude looks like a lady, yeah, yeah. Dude looks like a lady. That's what I got.
You got karaoke going on, evidently, on Friday night.
Friday nights after Loki's late show, we do karaoke.
All right. Sounds good to me. I'm there. It's Loki-oki. One of these days we'll get him on. So yeah, go check out Culture Casino's channel. Make sure you're still subscribed if you already were subscribed so you don't get unsubscribed from the channel. Hit that bell icon. Tell your friends about us. I want you to tell all your friends about me. That's right. Hey, Snow's in the house. How you doing? Snowing on the screen too. All right, we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to hang out with Nick and the guys here in just a little bit over on the Toxic Tuesday. And I want to thank Drunk 3PO for being here. Thank you so much, Jay. Anything you got to say? Anything at all?
Anyone? Bueller?
Somebody should add a burp to that right after this.
Or at least letting out a heavy sigh, because he does do that. He does
yeah.
thing going on.
Well, this is what he does. Okay, for those who may be like, what the hell is Tom doing? Okay, so Yellow Flash, myself, Robert, or not Robert, but Chris Gore. Chris Gore is the one who started it, but it's just been this kind of ongoing joke we've been doing with Jay, just to pick on him a little bit. But it's fun, and it makes you guys laugh. So that's all that matters. So with that, we're going to get the hell out of here. See you over on Toxic Tuesday.
Fade in.